a service of CNC Worldwide.
CNC Podcasts are a service of CNC News, brought to you by the Greece Chamber of Commerce, providing more than 800 member companies with business solutions since 1984. 4 Gates-Chili High School students are facing disciplinary action, and one is in the Monroe County Jail after punching Gates-Chili football coach Jason Benham in the team's locker room yesterday afternoon. Gates police say 17-year-old Devarcia Fort was one of 4 students who walked into the locker room, apparently bent on stirring up trouble with football players. Coach Benham got involved trying to break up the fight and was sucker punched in the eye by Fort. Police Chief James Van Brederode says 3 of the students, including Fort, were caught. 1 got away. None of the troublemakers was a member of the football team, and 2 were minors. All 4 students face immediate suspension pending a disciplinary hearing, and they face possible expulsion depending on the outcome. Fort is in the Monroe County Jail on $5,000 cash bail. A jury has found Marcus Freeman of Rochester guilty of murder and attempted murder in a shooting spree on Pullman Avenue just over a year ago. Prosecutors said Freeman came home to find his girlfriend's family and friends moving her out of his house. He pulled out a gun and started shooting, killing 27-year-old Wallacey Alvarez as she sat in a car in front of the house, wounding 33-year-old Martin Moore. He continued firing at the group until his gun jammed. Freeman was out on bail on a rape charge at the time of the shooting. A former high school wrestling standout who pleaded guilty to 9 charges will spend 12 years in prison. Vincenzo Zagari of Ogden launched into a 2-day crime spree in January. His family blames it on his heroin addiction. He first tried to rob a bank in Spencerport, then stole a car. He was caught shoplifting the next day at the Pittsford Wegmans, crashed the car trying to get away, then tried to carjack a woman in the Wegmans parking lot. He was shot by a Monroe County Sheriff's deputy after he aimed a BB gun at her that looked like an automatic pistol. Zagari apologized in court to the people he affected. Authorities have identified the man killed earlier this week when his motorcycle slammed into a car on Calkins Road in Henrietta. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says 68-year-old Bruce Frazee of Fairport was killed when a car pulled out onto the road directly in front of him. They say Frazee wasn't speeding, but he was unable to stop. The driver of the car has been ticketed for failing to yield. Legislation to extend Rochester's red light camera program for another 5 years has been put on hold at the request of Mayor Lovely Warren. City Council's Public Safety Committee put the matter on hold yesterday. City spokeswoman Christine Christopher says the final draft of a consultant's report on the program's effectiveness did not arrive as expected. They'll try again next month. The city has state authorization to extend the program until 2019. The system automatically snaps photos of cars in the intersection when the light turns red and sends the owner a $50 ticket. Ken Glazer has been named managing partner of Buckingham Properties. He's one of Larry and Jane Glazer's sons. That couple was lost at sea last month in a plane crash. Ken Glazer joined his father's company in 2009 as a development manager. And the Service Workers International, Local 1199, and the University of Rochester have jointly announced a tentative labor agreement with healthcare and service workers at UR Medicine. Talks began in September, and after 9 bargaining sessions, they reached agreement this week. They have not announced details pending a ratification vote by union members. That's October 16th. It covers 1,700 employees. In Livingston County, authorities are looking at 2 fires in the village of Nunday as suspicious. An historic mansion in the village burned in a sudden, spectacular fire Wednesday night. Sheriff Thomas Doherty says there are suspicious similarities with a fire 2 months ago at the Nunday Lumber Company. Both buildings were vacant, both were suddenly engulfed in flames, and both required multiple fire companies to keep the fires from spreading. Investigators spent Thursday on the scene of the mansion fire looking for evidence. Your next CNC podcast is whenever you click on one of these pages and catch one. We post updates as necessary. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.